Because I feel, you know, like, for example, the war on drugs. I don't know how you feel about the war on drugs, but
It's a waste of money.
well, it's people are dying.
Yeah, and they're encouraging people to use drugs and pharmaceuticals and
the
medicine.
Police are running around terrorizing people. The criminal justice system has been completely corrupted.
And that's by the City of London once again.
Yeah, I would agree. It would be.
They even have fringe flags in a lot of their courtrooms. Now, does anybody in this room know what a...
No, so the war on terror, that's their creation too, right?
Absolutely.
This endless
nobody
in
Iraq or Afghanistan has ever done anything to me, and the only thing they might want to do is grow some heroin or opium so that other countries that are in there, like they've done since the 1830s, can turn that into a consumable product of drug or narcotics, which I might use to enjoy myself or destroy myself. And it really doesn't matter which. These people are about depopulation, the centralization of wealth, and the elimination of personal rights.
How many people, okay, you may know Alex Jones.
I've heard the name.
Okay, well, he just recently came out, well, in the last 6 months, and made the claim that these power elite are fixing to liquidate 80% of the world's population. Would you go that far? Or?
I would go this far. I would say I believe that Alex Jones may be paid to say that. He may actually believe it. I don't care. The central issue you're talking about here is depopulation. For 57 years that I'm aware of, the people trying to control the world, and by the way, let me just be real clear, they're not going to do it. God created the world.
Oh, I agree.
He will control the world.
Yeah.
And these people, and I don't like to be, I think Alex Jones is rather vague. He'll talk about some group of boogeymen.
Well, there are scenarios where, I mean, they could put something in vaccines. They do it all the time. This endless war on terror, it's endless and infinite. If they get the Christians against the Muslims, you know,
Muslims love me and I'm a Christian.
There are potential scenarios where a good percent of the population could be wiped out.
Well, they're trying to do that with drugs. They're trying to do it with medicine. They're trying to do it with hate. They're trying to do it with money. By the suppression, by the control of, or the suppression or the control of credit. And this is where the octopus comes in, and this is where a man, and this is a foot stomper for your listeners, Danny Casolaro, D-A-N-N-Y-C-A-S-O-L-A-R-O. He was this close to finishing a book called The Octopus, and he died of a self-inflicted 37 or 50 knife wounds in a bathtub in Martinburg, West Virginia in 1991 because he was about ready to explain how Inslaw, Promise, and the octopus work together to control our U.S. U.S. Department of Justice, our banks, both sides of the Congress, and now we have a person in the White House who would have to prove to my satisfaction that his passport, and this is not planned, I travel with a passport all the time, but I have a passport here. If I can pull it out, you can see it. It's a U.S. passport. It's my opinion right now today that the commander-in-chief of the people deployed in Afghanistan and Iraq has a CUKC passport, and I don't believe anyone in this room knows what a CUKC passport is, but it's Citizen of the United Kingdom and Commonwealth. And in 1961, specifically August of 1961, a certain party, who I will not name unless you ask me to say Barry Soetoro, was born in Mombasa, Kenya, perhaps. That's a whole other issue. It's not for me, but I'm an American. I've been in the military 26 years. I've got 2 dead parents in Arlington, and if somebody wants me, they're going to have to come and take it, and they better come with their A game.
Wow. Folks, go ahead, Sasan.
And you brought up, of course, the idea that Obama's not actually a U.S. citizen, and I've heard this brought up a lot to attack Mr. Obama. I can think of a million criticisms for Obama besides what citizenship he is.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you have the same.
Did you hear us talk? The federal government's now moving on warrantless searches on emails and Facebooks. Did you hear about that?
I'm sure they'd have a field day if they got inside my email.
Oh, I want them to watch these shows. I hope they watch every one of them.
Well, I hope they communicate, whoever they are, I hope they communicate with the Minneapolis and Houston FBI offices and read the dual emails I sent them in the last 24 hours. And I commit that within an hour after the live taping of this show, I will make both of those emails available to both of you gentlemen. And you can do what you wish with them.
Cool. Folks, if you'd like to call in, we do have at least one call here. Huh? Okay, we're going to go ahead and try a call. Folks, if you'd like to call in, Time Warner Cable, Grande Communications, 477-2288. We are live today. It's the wrong date. It's September the 20th. But anyway, we are live. It's September the 27th. And if you're watching or listening over the internet, 512-477-2288. Welcome. You're on Worldwide.
Hi, Jeff. It's Melissa.
Hi, Melissa.
Listen, I'm glad to see you've got Field on. I listen to Field and David every Wednesday on Rumor Mill News. And I have a question that is the things that you guys are saying, Field, about Waco, do you have any proof?
Waco? I missed something.
The criminal cabal that did Waco, that did the Murrah building, that did 9/11, the proof is in the lack of response, I would submit, and there is no proof because, in fact, the area, if you listen to us a lot, you know what area I'm most fluent on, don't you, Melissa?
Well, kind of, but you're fluent in so much. I mean, go ahead and tell me.
9/11 and the aviation, the flying vehicles on 9/11, and the reason there is no evidence for 9/11, and if you solve, it's like a three-legged milk cart that a dairy farmer sits on. If you kick one leg out, he's fallen over. If we kick out Murrah, if we kick out 9/11, if we kick out Waco, there's a lot of these false flags.
What about Randy Weaver? They murdered.
That's the correct term. They murdered him.
14-year-old Sam Weaver. They shot him in the back.
Yeah, and they murdered him with.
And you're saying this is all coming down from this Crown of Seven?
No, Crown agents. And that's something I would like Melissa and others to come up to speed on. Google Crown agents. And originally in 1833, they were created to promote the business interest of the sovereign of the United Kingdom, then England. And somewhere between 1833 and 1941, they went rogue. And they stopped taking care of the Queen's business because they saw how much property, how much material, how much income, how much revenue, and how much power the Queen had.
Tell us about Waco. See, this show, since Melissa brought up Waco, I was a lone wolf crying out in the wilderness down here back in 1992.
Well, there's two in the pack now, Jeff.
Well,
well, can I interrupt for a second?
Go ahead, Melissa.
Well, my problem is, Field, what you've said on Raylan's show is that there was pedophile entrapment snuff films being made there, and that's what I want to know. Other than it looks just like the other operations doing that, do you have any solid proof? Because I was good friends with Catherine Madison, surviving Branch Davidian, until she died last October. I talked with her daily on the phone. We would argue Bible. We were best friends the last 4 years of her life. And I know she would never, ever have been involved in something like that. And she was at Waco from the 60s, before David Koresh ever came in. And I know horrible things were going on there. I know he was a mind control operative. I think he was a programmer. I can't prove that, but I don't like what David Koresh was all about, and he twisted God's word every which way but loose. But I know Catherine would never, and I don't think Clive Doyle either. Could it be possible that it was going on under their noses and they never would know?
Well, my position on Waco is pretty simple. We can't have a government running around driving tanks into buildings occupied by men, women, and children. It's that simple with me.
But Jeff,
yes.
What they're saying, what Field and David Hawkins are saying is that that David Koresh and some of his followers there were involved in child snuff films and coercing and entrapping people in high places with those child snuff films. Putting them in the films, and they didn't know they were being filmed.
I hadn't heard that.
Yeah,
so,
right.
Yeah, well,
I got to know quite a few of them. So has Mike. And
yes.
This is the first I've ever heard anything.
Me
like
too.
That.
And it wouldn't surprise me if David had a secretive thing going on. But I know Catherine and Clive would never, never, ever be a part of such a thing unless they were totally mind-controlled and split personality and didn't know one person from the other, you know.
Melissa, my answer to you would be simply this. There are a large number of people at the Branch Davidian compound at Waco. It's quite possible that a minority were participating in something that the majority didn't know about, sort of like the minority of our American servants in Congress who are participating in the random and wanton destruction of the freedoms and the obligations of the United States of America. We're to be a beacon of hope. And I heard you say something about Scripture in the Bible, so hopefully you can trust me when I tell you this live and unscripted. Ephesians 5:11 commands us to have nothing to do with have nothing to do with the fruitless deeds of darkness, but rather expose them.
Right.
Proverbs 21:31 says, the horse is made ready for the day of battle, but victory rests with the Lord. And Romans 8:31 says, if God's for you, Melissa, or if God's for me, or if God's from us collectively, who can be against us? And the answer is no one. We're going to bring them down, and we will. And it won't be us. It'll be God working through us collectively.
And I've been debating whether to come to Brave New Books tomorrow, Wednesday night, because I think I've gotten off the hot list. I've been involved, Jeff knows this, since '97, showing up at every rally, everything that I could show up at, and there for a while I was being targeted. My car was ruined. My phone was tapped. I had people following me. Things were not good there for a little while, and I'm not sure I want to go back on that red list. But I was going to come down and talk to you Wednesday night after I get done working. And I'm not afraid, but then I'm not stupid either, so I don't know.
Do you see that bright white windshield on that 1936 Studebaker right now, Melissa?
Yes, sir, I do.
That's the illumination of the truth, and that represents God, and that represents the innocent Jesus Christ who went to the cross for me and you.
That's
and
right.
That Studebaker and all of us guys behind the Studebaker coming for the bad people, and the bad people are circling the wagons in the city of London right now, and across transatlantic battle between MI5 and MI6 and the FBI is about ready to kick off. And there's a lot of little people that are being energized because we know that we're within 60 days of an event, and we fully intend to stop the event. And I'm not being vague. You can read about it in Chapter 12.
What do you mean, what event?
False flag.
What battle? Why are they battling these intelligence agencies?
They need to suppress we the people soon because their weapons, their motives, their opportunities, and their criminal cabal, their network, and the group we call the Twisted